everybody, my name is Mark, this is Riffle Shuffle and Roll, and today you're here to learn how to play a little game called Ginski. If it's your first time visiting the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you're notified about new games every week. Ginski is a game for 3 players in the Rummy family. Its chief game mechanisms and features include meld building and the use of a 5-suited Rumski deck. The objective for the round is to be the first player to go out with the least amount of deadwood possible. The objective for the game is to be the first player to reach 100 points. The Rumski deck is a 5-suited deck created by a company called Cardboard Games, and they are giving my viewers the opportunity to pick up the deck for 20% off. So if you're interested in picking this deck up, just use the code RSR20 at checkout. The link for their website is also down in the description. In order to play Ginski, you're going to need a Rumski deck and a way to keep score. Determine the dealer by having each player draw a card from the draw pile. The player with the lowest card must deal first and keep score for the entire game. For these purposes, wild cards are high. The dealer should shuffle thoroughly and deal 10 cards to each player. The rest of the cards are placed in the center as a draw pile. Flip the top card over to begin the discard pile. In this game, players are trying to fill their hand with melds. In Ginski, there are 2 types of melds. The first is called a set. A set is 3 or more cards with the same number. A set may contain 1 wild. The second kind of meld in Ginski is called a run. A run is 3 or more cards of the same color in sequential order. A run may also have 1 wild in it. A player may not build a meld of just wilds. Any wild that is not part of a meld is considered deadwood. Deadwood is any card not part of a meld. Play begins with the player left of the dealer looking at the first card in the discard pile and deciding whether they want to pick it up or pass. If they choose to pick it up, they take it, add it to their hand, discard a card, and then play would continue as normal to the next player. They would then choose to draw from the discard pile or the draw pile. If they don't want the card, they simply say pass, and the next player gets the choice to pick it up. If this player chooses to pick it up, they discard a card from their hand, and then the dealer would get to take their turn. Again, if this player also passes, the dealer then gets the choice to pick it up or pass. If the dealer passes as well, the player to their left then takes a normal turn. Of course, they must draw from the draw pile. In this demonstration, we're going to have this player actually accept this card. They want the 1, and they're going to discard the 13. Play now passes to the left. This player may either choose to pick up the discard or they can pick up the top card from the draw pile. They're going to draw a card. They draw a yellow 10, add it to their hand, and then discard a card from their hand. Play passes left. The dealer now gets to take their first turn. They may either draw from the top of the draw pile or take the top card from the discard pile. They pick this card up, forming a meld of 3 11s, and then they choose to discard the red 12. Play like this continues until the end of the round. When a player is ready to end the round, they draw their final card, see that they're ready to end the round, and then discard face down. This is the signal that the round has ended and a showdown is about to begin. A player is allowed to end the round when they have 13 points or fewer in deadwood. Here, they have created 3 separate melds. They have 3 1s using a wild, a 2 3 4 using a wild, and an 8 9 10. That leaves them with 5 deadwood points. They ended the round, and then the showdown would begin. We'd have to compare hands with their opponents to see if they had the least amount of deadwood or not, and then we could tally up the score. There are also 2 other ways to end the round. A player is also able to go Ginski. This occurs when they have successfully melded all 10 cards in their hand. So they drew their final time, discarded, and all 10 cards are in a meld. There are special points awarded for doing this, and we'll talk about that in the scoring section. There is one more way to end the round. If a player is lucky, they might be able to end the round with what's called a big Ginski. A big Ginski is when you get all 11 cards into a meld. So right now in this example hand, this player has 3 separate melds and 12 points in deadwood. Rather than end the round with what could be considered a lot of deadwood points, they decide to draw one more time. They draw an 11, which actually allows them to meld all 11 cards. This is a big Ginski, and this is worth even more points than just going Ginski. Cards are worth the value of the number on the card. Wild cards are worth 20 points. Once a player ends the round, it's time for the showdown. Players lay down their hands and then compare deadwood. For this example, this player ended the round. They had 5 points in deadwood. So what they would do is add up their opponent's deadwood value, subtract their own, and that would be their score for the round. So for this example, their opponents had 32 points in deadwood total, minus the 5, 27 points. This player just earned 27 points for the round. But what happens if one or more of the opponents has less deadwood? Well, let's take a look. Here, the same player has ended the round, but this time they have 12 deadwood points. This opponent over here only has 8. This is called getting undercut. This player just got undercut. So what happens is this player earns 25 points plus their opponent's deadwood points. If both players undercut the player who ended the round, then it is the player with the least amount of deadwood that takes the undercutting victory. They would get the 25 points plus the 23 in deadwood. All right, you've seen how to keep score when a player ends the round with deadwood. If a player ends the round by going Ginski, they earn 25 points plus the total amount of deadwood points in their opponent's hands. If a player gets a big Ginski and they meld all 11 cards in their hand, they earn 31 points plus the total deadwood value in their opponent's hands. All right, that was how to play Ginski. I think it's a pretty cool alternative to 2-player Gin Rummy. Adding that 5th suit and the wild cards really changes things up. And the wild cards make up for seeing a card you need be discarded 2 turns before you. There would be nothing worse than to be waiting on a card only to see it discarded and then blocked by the next player. So the wild cards kind of balance that out. I think it's pretty cool. So give this a try. Again, if you're interested in picking up the deck, head over to Cardboard Games and pick it up for 20% off. That's it for now. I will catch you next time, and remember to keep on playing.